sure. My streaming platform crashed on us unexpectedly, but the orange little live indicator in the top right corner on my screen says we're live. So I'm going to assume we're live. Uh, Welcome to the takeaway with me, your host, Munif Saza. And today we're going to call your sellers live on stream. I can't wait. This is my favorite part of the business, talking to sellers. Man, I can't wait to talk to sellers. It is my absolute favorite part of this entire business and this entire industry. Now, I'm not very good with systems and processes and spreadsheets. So I did not make a spreadsheet or a Google form or anything like that so I can call your sellers. I didn't do anything like that. Unfortunately, that's just not my strong suit. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to put, how will people message me? All right, you're going to have to DM me your seller name, address, and phone number, as well as your maximum allowable offer, because I'm not going to comp your property. Not because I don't want to, because I am a slow comper. It takes me like 10 minutes to comp one house. And I don't do the comping on our team. We have, I'm getting better. I used to not know how to comp, but I finally learned how to comp. And it takes me like 5 to 10 minutes to comp something. But we have my partner Eyal is very experienced as comping. So we just send him everything to comp before we make offers. So I'm not going to comp your properties. If you give me the maximum allowable offer for cash, if you give me the name of your seller, like first, last name, property address, and phone number, I can actually go ahead and make the call. If you're watching on Facebook, I cannot see any of your comments. Unfortunately, I can't see any of your comments if you're watching on Facebook. If you're on YouTube or Twitch, go ahead and shoot a comment below so I can see it. Let's see, I know there's some people who are interested in me calling their sellers. If nobody's interested in me calling their sellers, that's no problem. I'm just going to call my own team's sellers and make a ton of money for ourselves. Just kidding. But seriously, when I call sellers for you guys, it is completely free. I don't need to make any money. I don't need to JV. I'm not interested in JVing. I'm not interested in being a part of your deal. This is just, one way I can give back. And it's my favorite part of the job. I love talking to sellers. Less Concepcion says, what's up, Munif? What's up, Les? Joy Vire says, hello. Hi, Joy. And then DQuez1114 says, what's up, Munif? Are you only calling sellers on Tuesdays? Actually, I'm not. I'm only calling sellers this Tuesday and tomorrow, and that's it. That's it. Because I've got other things to do. So I'm only calling your sellers today and tomorrow, and then that's it. So, you can use it or you can lose it. So if you're clever, you probably have some leads for me. But if you're not interested in me talking to your sellers, no problem, no hard feelings. I will call my own leads and lock up my own deals. DQuez1114 says, okay, I will have a seller tomorrow for sure. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Thank you. I mean, I really appreciate those of you that want me to call their sellers or are interested in me talking to their sellers. So, let's see here. My stream ended abruptly. So it didn't work earlier, but I think things are working right now. So cool. So does anybody here who's watching live have a seller they'd like me to call? Hey, Munif, I called the last couple hours trying to bring you something, but no luck. My goal is to get you something tomorrow. Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah. John Rivas, Unicorn Broker, no problem. Brandon Council says, I have one. Let me get the info. Brandon, message me on Facebook. Message me the info on Facebook. Um, Les Conception says, Munif, I do have a seller. How can I submit this to you? Oh, yeah, no problem. So DM me on Facebook. My name is Munif Saza on Facebook. Send me the seller's name, phone number, property address, and MAO. That's really all I need to have an intelligent conversation with the seller. Um, and because I can like look it up on Zillow and stuff. And I remember doing this like last year before the Closers Olympics, and then people were submitting me their sellers, and I got a contract for somebody. Autumn, Autumn Alexander, she submitted a seller. Her MAO was 60. I think we locked the contract up at like 58 or something. I hope she sold it. I think she sold it and made some money. But I don't need to JV. I don't need to make any money. This is. Uh, ooh. Joy Viray. Can we hear how you would talk to an agent who has a seller open to creative financing? Yeah. Send that information. Send the agent's info over. Shoot the agent a text. I just need to know, like, also, if you talk to the seller, I need to know, like, what, like, did you talk to them? Did your partner talk to them? Who talked to them? Because if I'm like, hey, I'm Munif, Joy Viray talked to you, it might be it might be difficult. I need to know Joey talked to you or Mark. Yeah, I work with Mark. We do deals together. But if you have not talked to the seller, I have other scripts or lines I use to open the door. But it's just easier. It's better for your deal if you do some kind of a handoff. So let's see. I have a lead. Franklin says I have a lead. Sending details. Minneapolis. Okay, the seller's name is Daniel. Okay, so what's the MAO? What's your MAO? All right, let's see. Let me check this lead out. So seller wants 190K for this. I'm looking at this property. He wants Zillow. Okay, great. I don't know if he knows in this market, no one's getting Zillow unless they live in a very very specific neighborhood. So this property's been vacant for 2 years, has not been getting rent. It was a fire damage property. They have to put in a kitchen and remodel the bathroom downstairs. Contractor has been giving too much headaches. Seller owns it free and clear. And the property is attached to his shop, and he wants more than Zillow. He wants retail, open to owner finance. I can talk to him. Yeah, sure. Let's call Daniel. The thing with this is, the thing with sellers like this is, like, his property is a piece of shit. Like, no offense. Like, it burned down. There's no kitchen. It's attached to a shop. Like, these are properties that are not cookie cutter properties. They're very unique. There are ways to make money, but it's a lot. It's like squeezing a rock for some juice or some water. And you can do it. Like, I'm sure there are some rocks that you can squeeze for some water, but if you're focusing your time on these kind of leads, you're gonna have a tough time. There is money to make. It is still worth calling the sellers and seeing what you can do, but don't overly spend too much time on properties in rural areas or properties that are going to be really difficult to make money from. So what's challenging with this is there's a few things, right? So it's hasn't been remodeled. It was a fire damaged property. The guy wants too much money. All right, cool. We can handle those. It's attached to a shop. We can still handle that. But it's let's call him. Let's call him. Let's see what's going on.
Good Electric.
Hey, this is Dan. Hey, this is Munif. Did I catch you at a bad time?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of something.
Oh, okay. You want me to call you back in like 15, 20 minutes?
Sure, bye.
All right, bye-bye. Cool. So I always do that. It's controversial, but I always do that. I always ask if I caught somebody at a bad time, especially if they're in the middle of something. Controversial because some people are just, they're saying that to get you off the phone. Um, and some people will, it's kind of like when you open the door to a door-to-door salesman and then you close the door on them and they put their foot in the door and they're like, hold on 1 second, let me just talk to you. So that's strategy and that works, but it's not my style. It's not authentic to me. Whenever I call somebody, I like to make them feel comfortable. And there's another strategy, which is what I use, is I build rapport if I caught them at a bad time. So if I caught somebody at a bad time, I say, hey, let me call you back in a little bit. And I will get deals or get rapport where sellers are busy and they're like, oh my God, thank you. And like, thank you so much. I'm just busy. Thanks for asking. And I call them back. I'm like, hey, is it a better time? They're like, yeah, this is better. Thanks. What's up? And that instantly gives me more rapport. So there's two ways you can go about it. It's just whatever your strategy and your preference is. This is my preference. It's authentic to me. When I call my mom, I call my own mom and I say, hey mom, did I catch you at a bad time? So that's how I like to do those calls. Franklin, I'll call your seller back. Okay. Let's see. Did anyone else send me? I think I have to go to my message requests, right? Well, I think it was just Franklin who has a seller for me. Okay, cool. Joy Vire, do you have an agent? Can we hear how you would talk to an agent who has a seller open to creative financing? Yeah. What's the agent's name and contact info and the property address? I'm happy to talk to your agent to see if we can get a deal here. Okay, so it seems like nobody has seller. Oh, Brandon Council coming through with the. All right. Ooh, this is in San Antonio. I love San Antonio. Okay. He says 80% done with the rehab. Would like us to finish it. He's doing the right. Ooh, Brandon, look at you coming with this lead, bro. Let's call this lead. Joseph. Brandon, do you go by Brandon? Did you talk to the seller?
Please leave your message for Joe Mike.
This is important. This is so freaking important. It's these little things that make this fun for me. So Brandon messages me this guy's name, and it's like Joseph blah, like last name. And it's because when he skip traced him, that's the legal name. So what do most people do? They call the seller and they go, Joseph. And usually here's where I make like a strategic call. Joseph's, I call him Joe. You heard me with Daniel, his legal name in the lead sheet was Daniel, blah, blah, blah. I call him Dan. Um, and I listened to the voicemail when he didn't pick up because I wanted to hear if he said, hey, you've reached Joseph or Joe. Because if you shorten somebody's name and they don't like it shortened, they actually don't like that. But he goes by Joe. So it's these little things I listen for, and they just make it fun for me. It's not important. The stuff isn't important. You can get deals, talk to sellers, and have great conversations without these little things, but they're fun for me. So I hone in on this stuff. So Joe, it's going to be Joe. I'm not going to call him Joseph, and I'm going to call him Joe because his mom calls him Joe, and his dad calls him Joe, and his brother and sisters and family and kids, they all call him Joe. And so if I call him Joe, he'll be more comfortable than if I call him Joseph, which is his government name, and only police officers and attorneys call him Joseph. Let's call Joe.
Please leave your. Please leave your message for.
All right. So if you are new to calling, I'm going to talk about two things. So the first is always triple dial. There's no reason you should not triple dial. There are so many sellers that get on the third dial, and it's because they were like washing their hands and their phone was across, and they're like, "Oh, let me get it," or they're like, "I don't recognize this number. I'm not going to pick it up." But on the third dial, they're like, "Who the hell keeps calling me?" And they pick up, and it's cool. Like it's cool to talk to somebody, and if they ask you maybe 1 out of 50 times, somebody asks like, why did you call me 3 times? Like I'm busy. I just go, oh, I'm so sorry. I just wanted to make sure I had the right number. Is this a bad time? Yeah, it's a bad time. Okay, yeah, I'll call you back. Like, no problem. Can I call you in an hour? I just call them back nonstop until I'm like, hey, are you still busy? That's what I like to do. I don't like to needlessly break rapport unless I'm negotiating. So, I got a text message from Uncle Lanza. Oh, guys, it's amazing when Uncle Lanza texts you. That's like an amazing thing. I'm gonna get back to him after the stream. So triple dial. The second thing I want to talk about is most sellers are not going to pick up the phone. Maybe like 1 in 3, or maybe half. Like if you're really good, half your sellers will pick up. Like that's like a really good data. Like that's really good metrics. It's usually about 1 in 3 or 1 in 4, sometimes 1 in 5 sellers. So that means, imagine this. Imagine you're making calls and you've got a list of 10 sellers you're going to talk to today, and you're really hyping up, you're hyping yourself up, and you're comping and this and that. And out of those 10 sellers, like 2 might pick up the phone. And then you're like, well, I did a lot of work. Like I underwrote like 10 deals, talked to 2 people. Like, I guess that's good. And it's like, no, that's not good. So there's multiple ways to get your connections up. One is volume, which is like, don't underwrite everything and just go through numbers. So you're just constantly talking to sellers, because you want to hit about 20 conversations a day. If you can hit 20 conversations a day, you're going to make a fuck ton of money in this business. Like, I don't care who you are. Like you could suck, and you're going to make a ton of money if you're having 20 conversations a day to actual sellers who want to sell. I'm not talking about like cold calls, but I'm talking about like leads. You're going to make money if you can consistently hit that. Or set more follow-ups. So like if Joe was expecting my call, and guys, if you guys are smart, you guys can do this. Like say when my team has me call their sellers, or usually on lives like this. Back when I used to do these a lot, people would prep their sellers and say, "Hey, by the way, Joe Munif is my partner. He buys a lot of real estate. He has a lot of uh, expertise in this field. He's going to be calling you between like 3 and 4 p.m. sometime that time. Please, please, please pick up the phone when he calls and just get that verbal commitment. And then when they give you that, your connection rate goes up and you actually go from like 20 to 30% connection to like 50% by just setting appointments. So that's useful. So Brandon, I like the situation Joe's in. Like, I don't like the situation for him. Like, it sucks, but I like the kind of lead because he has pain. Like, he needs help. He's stuck in a flip that he's not completing, which sucks, and he's just leaving money on the table. So we can help him. We can complete this flip. Like, we can complete it. We can do creative. We can do all those things. But we need to get a hold of him. All right, let's see the chat. Oh, this is so funny. Gwendolyn says, when people call me Gwen, I need anger management. You're the exact reason I listen to the voicemail. Because if you're like, hey, you've reached the voicemail of Gwendolyn, blah, 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 blah. That's when I'm like, she's a Gwendolyn. Like, Gwendolyn's a Gwendolyn. There's no Gwen. Do not call Gwendolyn Gwen. Do not do that. Abort mission. But maybe out of like 10 Gwendolyns, maybe like 7 go by Gwen. And so when I have to like risk it for the biscuit, I just do Gwen. Now, I've had a seller call me out. Like, his name was Philip. And I'm like, hey, Phil. And he's like, who's Phil? I was like, do I have the wrong number? He's like, my name's Philip. And that happens. Like, it's very rare, but it happens. And all you say is, oh, I'm so sorry, Philip. Somebody wrote here on my desk that your name was Phil. So I'm so sorry. I apologize, Philip. Anyways, Philip, are you looking to sell this house? And you just move on. Joy V Ray. Joy V Ray says, how do I send you the agent information who's open to creative financing? Joy V Ray, I told you, so I'm going to tell you again. All right. So I'm going to, for you and everyone else who missed this. So you can go to facebook.com and you can find me. My name is Munif Saza. You find me and you send me a message on facebook.com. And through that, you can actually send me the agent's name, phone number, the property address, and just give me a little bit of a description on what's going on with the lead. So I'm gonna read you guys Brandon Counsel's message to me. Brandon, you're amazing. You did this really, really good. You did such a good job. I'm going to use you as an example on how to send me a lead in my DMs on Facebook when I'm doing calls like this for you guys. So Brandon said, okay, seller, here's the seller's name. Here's the seller's property. Here's the maximum allowable offer. And here's the ARV. So those are really good because it helps me get a picture for the real estate. Those are the numbers I need. Then Brandon says, I talked to him and he said he's 80% done with the rehab, but would like us to finish the rehab. He's doing the entire renovation himself. He's open to creative, but he wanted more information. It's been a couple of weeks since we talked. Brandon, I'm going to give you my cell phone number, by the way. I buy in San Antonio, Texas. So I don't know if you're looking to like buy this property. If you are, I'm still going to call your seller and you can buy it. But if you're looking to assign it, I'm your buyer. So like, I'll pay you if we do it together. I buy there. So if I actually like it, I'll actually buy this from you. Or you can assign it to somebody else and I don't need to be involved. I'm just throwing it out there if you want it. So I just messaged you on Instagram, my cell phone number, Brandon, so you can text me. Okay, so Joy V Ray. Let me see if Joy V Ray is in my messages. Okay. While I wait for Joy V Ray, who I think is gonna send me something in my. So there's message requests, so I have to check that because Facebook. But Lester has something. Lester Concept. Oh, that's such a cool last name. Concepcion? Lester, is that your real last name? Because that's a really cool last name. All right, this is Chris, and it's in Mesa, Arizona. That's cool. I love properties in Mesa. Let me just see what Zillow has it for. Okay, 441. Okay, got it. He wants 500,000. That's fine. Let's call Chris. Lester, what name does the seller know you as Lester? I have to ask this because some people go by different names, and it throws me off. I'm like Lester, and they're like, who the fuck is Lester? And they're like, you mean Joey? And I'm like, oh yeah, Joey is of course Joey. So I have to double check, make sure seller knows you as Lester. Comps 470 wants 500K. Zillow has it at 440. There's a renter coming in. Okay, that's tough. It means I can do less with the property. Whatever.
Hello.
Hey, Chris.
Hey,
Hey, this is Munif. Did I catch you at a bad time?
who is this?
This is Munif. I work with Lester.
Say that again. I'm not following what you're saying.
Oh yeah, I work with Lester. I don't know if Lester told you I'd be calling. It's about your property on West Pampa Avenue in Mesa, here in Arizona.
No, he didn't say anything.
Oh, okay. Well, did I call you at a bad time? Do you want me to call back at a better time, or?
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Okay, what's a good time for me to call you back?
Just have to try different times. Like I was telling him, my schedule changes. I'm not on a regular, 9 to 5 or anything like that.
Oh, okay. Before I
It's
get off,
different every day.
got it. Are you still interested in selling this, or should I call someone else?
Well, like I said, it all depends on the situation. So, the price, and we've got a renter that's going to be moving in the next couple of weeks. So, the renter will have a year-long lease, so it has to be someone that's interested in, keeping it as a rental property.
Yeah,
That
that would be me. I'm actually our company's underwriter, and I actually write the check. So I figured I'd just call you directly.
Mm-hmm.
But it might be a more involved conversation, and if this is if you want, I can call you back when it's a better time. But it's difficult to schedule if I don't know when to call you back.
Well, tomorrow afternoon sometime might work.
Tomorrow afternoon, maybe 4:00, 4:15.
Yeah, that should work.
All right, so I'm gonna put you in my calendar here at 4:15 tomorrow, and we'll just chat then. All right, Chris.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Talk to you
Thank
later.
you.
Bye bye. Okay. So the reason is I need buy-in for the conversation. So he was trying to get rid of me, and I don't like talking to people who don't really want to talk to me. So I disqualify. Like, hey, do you still want to sell this, or should I call other people? And he's like, well, no, I do want to sell this, but it's I need this kind of person. And so I'm like, well, I'm that kind of person. And now he's like, oh, well, yeah, let's talk. And I'm like, well, if now's not good, because we need to have a conversation here. So that's an upfront contract. Like, when's a good time? Because talking to you randomly is going to be difficult. He's like, well, tomorrow afternoon. It's like, what's good? 4:15 is good. Yeah, that's good. Okay, great. So now we have an appointment, right? That's how you set an appointment. Now, what is he going to actually make time for that call and pick up at that appointment? Nobody knows. It's impossible to know if Chris, that particular seller, is going to make that particular appointment, or if he's going to blow me off, or if he's really interested, or if he's not. But that doesn't matter, because this business is about filling your pipeline and by making calls and taking action. So it's not about what Chris is going to do. It's about having 50 Chris's in your system and 20 appointments in your day. Like say you schedule things like really, really, tight, and you're just 30-minute appointments. Like 30 minutes is all you give. And that's a lot of time, by the way. Like 30 minutes per seller is a lot of time. If you call for 12 hours a day, you call from like 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Like you're really like focused. And you're giving yourself 30 minutes appointments. Like you can get 20 appointments in a day. You like having small breaks here and there. So there you can do this. You have to set appointments. Not all of your appointments will actually pick up, but it's better than not setting appointments. And having appointments is better than not having appointments and just randomly calling people because you don't know where they're at. Like someone could just be chilling and not in the mind frame to talk about this, which is fine. And maybe they'll be interested in talking, or someone might be in the middle of work. Like he's like, hey man, my schedule is crazy. I talked to Lester and my schedule is really insane and I don't really have time. This is a bad time right now. So the goal is, the lesson here is fill your pipeline, have these quick intro first calls, set appointments, fill your calendar with appointments, and then go through your appointments. And out of the appointments, if you set them properly, you might have a 40 to 50% connection rate. Now, what most people do is they are only talking to like 2 sellers, and those 2 sellers might set an appointment and then they both ghost and they're like, man, this business is so hard. And I'm here to tell you, this business is about volume and setting like 20 stinking appointments in a day or 15 stinking appointments in a day. And then you get like 7 or 8 conversations in, and then you do that every single day for months and you make a shit ton of money. Smooth, he will be curious that you are not rabid. I don't know what that means. Yes, Dave says so smooth. I don't think I was particularly smooth in any of that, but thank you guys. Thank you. I really appreciate that. All about numbers. That's what Les says. Hold on. I'm trying to answer some of your guys' questions. Do you do both direct to seller and direct to agent? Do you have a preference? I prefer direct to seller because it's less decision makers, because you got to remember, like, I mean, so there's different ways to go around it, right? But I prefer whatever has the least amount of decision makers, because I have to, I have to herd more cats. Like I can herd one cat, which is my seller. And if I have an agent, I have to herd the agent and the seller, which is fine. And sometimes, you'll have an amazing agent and a difficult seller, or a difficult agent and an amazing seller, and whatever, right? That's fine. Or sometimes you're going to have a difficult seller and a difficult agent. So if you give me a preference, it's direct to seller, because it's just one person I have to contend with, one person and a spouse maybe. But if there's an agent in there, it's like one person, spouse plus agent. Now I've got like 2 up to 3 people that I'm like navigating. Not that I want to work around agents. If there's an agent in there, I want to pay them, but agents make it very difficult sometimes to pay. Like we have a deal right now in Dallas where the agent, oh my God, the agent messed up. The agent told the seller the wrong offer, told the seller the wrong price, presented just the wrong offer and the wrong price by like a factor of $25,000 on a creative deal in Dallas, Texas. And it put us in such a bind, because it's now hard to go back and tell the seller, actually, we're not at 325, we're at 300. So you can have an agent just play the game, like the telephone game, where, you tell Susie a secret, and then Susie tells Michael a secret, and then Michael tells Joanne a secret, and then Joanne calls you and tells you the same secret, and it's just a totally different thing. And that's what happens with a lot of agents. And so that's what happened with our deal. And we're paying the agent, and we figured out how to do it. What we're going to do is we're going to increase the seller finance term. We talk about it. We actually talked about it in yesterday's rap video. What Chai is really smart. He was able to like since it was at 0% interest, the $25,000, which we just increased the term by like another 12 months, and ended up costing us about $30 a month or something like that in actual or monthly payments to the seller. So it was fine because it was a creative deal. But and then the agent, we don't want to, the agent's brokerage doesn't allow sub twos. So we're like, we don't have to use your brokerage. And he's like, well, how do I get paid? It's like, we'll pay you an assignment fee. And he's like, assignment fees are not legal. And it's like, actually, assignment fees are very legal. And their title companies process them in every single state. Like they're 1,000% legal. You just have to look at the state laws, and you have to, comply with the state disclosures. And in Texas, of course, assignments are 1,000% illegal. I buy creative deals. I sell creative deals. I assign and buy cash deals in Texas all day long, and we use assignments every day. So they're completely legal. But agents sometimes don't know any better. So it's like it's hard to educate an agent and a seller. But Chai on this deal has done a great job at that. Chai just texted me. Deal is locked. No, Prakash texted me. Deal is locked. This is the one where the agent messed up. House looks good in a very good area. So like we're super stoked. ES Dave says, I guess smooth in comparison to me, LUL. Dude, you're smooth, man. Look at you. ES Dave, man. You with your dope ass Twitch icon. You're smooth, man. Get out of here. Brandon Council says, yes, I need to have more appointments. You exactly right. You need to have more appointments. Gwendolyn says, you are not salesy or overly aggressive. That's my style. I'm not an aggressive person by nature. So I don't want to be aggressive with people. That's just not how I am. There are people who are dominant personality types who are aggressive by nature. And they like, a seller is turning around and walking out of their store, and they'll put their hand on the seller's shoulder and say, hold on, let me show you what else I got. And I just don't do business that way. I'm not right. I'm not better, and they're not wrong, and they're not better, or they're not worse. It's just different, and you have to know who you are and what kind of person you are and what you like. Some people resonate with what I do. Some people don't. There are some sellers that listen to me and they're like, I can't bear this guy. This guy's so full of shit. Screw this guy. And some sellers listen to me and they're like, oh my gosh, this person really gets me. I really want to work with Munif. He sounds amazing. I'll sign anything you send over. So think about it this way. You're going to get 10%. You're going to get 10% of deals, all deals you get. 10% of all deals that are available for you to get are going to be people who decided to go with you no matter what you said. For some reason or another, whether you just picked up the phone at the right time, called them at the right time, or whatever it was, 10% of people who are going to sell to a wholesaler will sell to you just because you happen to be there or they like you. And we call them the low-hanging fruit or laydowns. Another 10% of sellers are never going to sell to you. They can't stand you, or they don't like you. They don't like the sound of your voice. They think you sound too nasally. They think you don't sound nasally enough. They think you're too aggressive or you're not aggressive enough. Whatever, 10% will never, ever, ever sell to you. And then there's about 80% of people who would sell potentially to you or a wholesaler that's undecided. It's between you or someone else. They're not exactly sure. And it's those that we go after, and it's those people we want to learn the skills necessary in this business to get the 80% of people who would have gone either way. And we don't really care about the people that would have never sold to us, and we don't really care about the people that would sell to us no matter what. And to get those 80%, it's okay, I'm not going to change myself, right? To get the 10% I wasn't going to get by being authentic. No, it's about being more of yourself and being more authentic to go for the 80% of people who are not sure who they're going to go with. And the way to do that was with conviction. And I could get into this, like having conviction in your voice, your tone, in the words you use, having conviction with sellers will help you convert like 1,000%. And I could tell you stories about that, but that's not why we're here. Gwendolyn says, congratulations. Gwendolyn. Oh, yeah, that's right. Phil. That's right, Phil. What markets do you buy in? San Antonio, Dallas, Austin, and Houston. Yes, Dave says, it's good to know you don't have to be aggressive because that ain't me either. But in this industry, seems to confuse me because of how they preach on being aggressive. Thank you for that. Yeah, just listen to Pace's calls. I really resonated with Pace because he's not aggressive on the phone. Pace is not aggressive on the phone, so I really resonate with Pace. That's why I joined Sub 2. All right, here we go. Joy Vire. Okay, so please tell me these are not in. Oh, these are in California. Cool, no problem. We can do creative finance in California. $60 days on Zillow. Seller is willing to hear creative. Okay, here let me put this on. Let's call this agent. All right. Just like reading this property. This is creative. Okay, so I'm just gonna call this agent right now.
Benny, help you.
Hey, Benny.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Munif. How are you?
Good. How you doing, my friend?
I am excellent. Did I catch you at a bad time?
No. What's going on?
Oh, excellent. Yeah, man. So I work with Joy. I'm the underwriter at our real estate firm, and she mentioned she talked to you the other week about 2430 La Ramada Lane.
Uh-huh.
Is that still for sale?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. She mentioned, I got a note from here. It says she mentioned that maybe the seller was interested in, something creative.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. Can you catch me up to speed on what you and Joy talked about?
We didn't even talk. She wants to know their payment and how much they owe. I asked the seller, and I haven't heard back from them.
Oh, that's challenging.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Do you know what we're trying to do so I can tell the seller?
Yeah. So I buy a lot of these properties. It just depends on the seller situation and how much they need down. So, like for example, I just bought a property today here in Arizona. I'm local to Arizona, but I buy, in California as well. And what I did here in Arizona was, the seller needed too much money because they owed too much money on their mortgage. And so I bought the property subject to the underlying financing. And I wrote the seller a check for like $1,500. I paid the agent his full commission. For this deal, it was like about $15,000. I wrote him a check. And then I got the deed and I'm on the hook for the mortgage payments. We were able to do it.
How are you on the hook for the mortgage payments if it's underneath another person?
Because I have the deed. And so we wrote a clause in our agreement that if I actually fail to make my payments, the original seller gets the deed back.
Okay.
Right. So that's what we do to protect our sellers. But that worked for that seller, and I'm not exactly sure what's going to work for yours.
Right.
I mean, are they really interested in selling this thing, or did they just?
Yeah, they are, dude. I think I get them down to 650 too.
Hey, that could work.
I know, dude.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, I'd love to. What I like about working with agents is, I'm not an agent. I don't represent anybody. I just represent myself, and so I can pay you, usually out of the cash at close. So you're cashed out,
Yeah.
and we can do something creative here. But I need to know a little bit about like what's going on with the. I mean, do they live in the house? Or
No,
they
it's vacant. Vacant.
what? It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
So what are they like paying like a mortgage every month and just
Yeah, sure they are.
geez, and you don't know how much.
I'm sitting right in front of her right now. So I was actually gonna call him.
Okay.
So why don't you just text me what you want me to ask him? I'll call him right now, and then
Just so I'll text. So yeah, I'll text you at this. This is your cell number.
yeah.
Yeah. Just all I need to know is like, okay, like how much. Like let's just pretend they sell it for 650, right? Like how much do they owe, right? Because like it depends, right? Like so if let's say they owe like $400,000 and I buy it for 650, right? So
Yeah.
that means that they have $250,000 of equity in the property.
Right.
I don't write anyone a check for $250,000 in this market, in this economy. What I do
Right.
is I turn them into a lender and I create a second mortgage, a second lien on the property that they own. And I make monthly payments, equal monthly payments to them on top of the mortgage.
Okay.
That's how I do it. That's how my goal here is to be able to pay you your full commission, to pay the sellers as least as I can to get into the property. And then I renovate the property, I put it on Airbnb or Furnished Finders or turn it into an assisted living facility or whatever. And then I've got 2 payments to make every month. And
Gotcha. That's not bad. I like that.
it's pretty good. This is what I do. I literally only do this.
What do you normally pay on the second mortgage?
It depends on the rental numbers. I mean, what do you think I could rent this out for?
3-bedroom, half an acre. I'm horrible at rent, but I'm gonna say anywhere from 29 to 32.
Okay.
That could be off.
Yeah, but so well, I mean, it's hard for me to give you an exact, but let's just pretend it's like $3,000 I get in rent, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's pretend it's $3,000. So I gotta like put 10% away for expenses, 10% away for property management. So 20% off 3 is what, $600. So I'm there's 2,400, and then I don't know what their current monthly mortgage is. So I'd have to service that from the 2,400, and then whatever's left over, I might write them a small nominal check. And then I need to have a little bit of money to put in my war chest, so I'm actually cash flowing.
Yeah.
So that's how I think about these. The way I look at everything is how much am I going to make on the property from the cash flow in a year versus how much cash am I putting in up front. And that's how I look at my return on investment.
How long have you done this for?
I've been doing this for a long time.
So did you get a bunch of them like 2018 and 19?
Oh my God, bro. The interest rates I've been getting, especially like the people who got, who refinanced back like in 21, I'm getting I've got like 2.7%, 2.5% interest rates, like unreal interest rates. So I'm paying these loans down really fast. I've got tenants in them. Some of them I have, on Airbnb.
Yeah.
And and I can do, we can talk more, but like I do really cool stuff where I get like private.
I would love to pick your brain, dude.
Yeah. For sure. So, well, I'll show you how to do it. And like, you can do it with some of your clients,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This is like,
now people are getting desperate,
people are desperate. And like, dude, they're sitting there, it's vacant. And like, the way to think about it is not how much of a check I'm going to get in the mail. It's I stopped paying my mortgage. Like, I stopped paying my mortgage completely. And in 10 years, like what I do with a lot of sellers, like I just did this with Gloria and Ron for a property I bought. It's a multifamily I bought in Ohio. They had 200,000 in equity and there was no spread to actually make them a monthly payment. So I just took over their mortgage. I gave them, I gave them the second lien position. And then in 10 years, I'm going to refinance this and they're going to get a check for like 230 or 240. And,
cool.
And so it's cool. So like they don't have to pay the mortgage. They get a lump sum down the road. and they're not on the hook anymore for selling this thing in a shitty market.
Yeah. Okay. Love it, dude. Love that. Love the idea. That's pretty damn cool. Okay, man. Can you give me a quick little text?
I'll shoot you a text. Yeah. I'll shoot. We'll just text back and forth. All right, man.
Thanks,
All
man.
right. Talk to you later. Bye bye. Okay. So I like him. He reminds me of Abraham. Abraham Gray, if you're watching, he sounds like you. He talks like you. What's going on? Do you have a brother or something in California? What's going on, man? John Rivas, Unicorn Broker. I love this call and very helpful for my direct to agent calls. I'll be watching this replay several times. Hashtag facts. Great call, Munif. That's dope. Joy Vire said that was awesome. DQuez1114 says it did sound like Abraham. Abraham, dude, you're trolling me because it sounded. The guy sounds like Abraham and talks like Abraham and is like, oh my God, Edgar's in here. Edgar, what's up, man? I love you, brother. So nice. Let's connect this week, man. I love you so much. Joy Vire says so smooth. Okay, I gotta text this guy. This guy's my friend now. I gotta text him. Now is that's the worst part of this business. You make friends along the way. How horrible. Just kidding. He's nice. I like Benny. Hey Benny, it's Munif. We just talked about 2430 La Ramada. Please ask the sellers how much they owe and what their monthly payment is. PITI. We can do something creative with this one. So, Joy, my goal is to get you this with the lowest entry fee humanly possible, and then you can do whatever you want with it. I don't buy in California, so I am not going to buy this from you, but you can sell this to anybody else. You can keep it yourself. You can do whatever you want. You can wrap it, whatever. My goal is to get you the lowest entry fee possible. All right, people are sending me their sellers. Wow. Guys, it's 4:00. That's about it for me today. I got some work to catch up on. So if you guys enjoyed this, if you guys like this, come back tomorrow. I'll do some follow-ups tomorrow. I'll actually be here. Let's see if I can be here for 2 hours tomorrow. That'd be cool. Yeah, I think I can do 2 hours tomorrow. So guys, if you like this, if you enjoyed this, shout out this stream. Let people know what we're doing here on the takeaway. For tomorrow only, I am going to be calling your sellers and talking to your agents. You guys heard some calls I had. This is just an hour calling. Imagine if you cultivate this skill and then you do this for 12 hours a day, you can actually make a lot of money because you can get deals. Look how excited this guy was. Super excited. He's like my best friend. He's gonna go really push this for the sellers. And you can see some of the techniques and strategies I use to have these conversations. So guys, shout this stream out. I'm gonna do this for 2 hours tomorrow. If you have sellers, bring them tomorrow. If you don't have sellers, go find sellers for tomorrow. If you want me to talk to your agents, I'm happy to do that. If you want me to talk to your mom or your cousin, I'm happy to do that too. Maybe you want to join the sub-2 mentorship. You need somebody to talk to your mom so they can write you a check. I'm happy to do that. I'm just joking. Danny says, peace out. Peace out, Danny. John Rivas, Unicorn Broker says, thank you, Munif. And yes, do 2 hours. I'll bring you a lead. Cool. Edgar says, love it. Love you guys. You guys are the best. Oh, Lang Lois J says, can you break down how you're going to market your wrap? That's a Monday wrap call. Those are for Mondays. So Chime Prakash, come in on Mondays. Guys, I'm not sure if we're going to continue on with our Monday wrap series because it seems that the information can go over a lot of people's heads. It goes over my head, so I'm speaking about myself when I say this. But it's very technical. The topic's very technical, so we might just kill the rap series unless there is enough demand and enough people really, really want us to continue on with the rap series. It's kind of like, when a TV network like has a show and not enough people watch it, so they have to pull it because they spend a lot of money and time on it. But it might have like a really small cult following. That's kind of what it's like. So, of course, if a lot of people really, really want it, we can continue to do it. But we might have like 2 more weeks of it, and we might take it away. Thank you. Joy says, continue the rap Zoom, so helpful. Thank you. Joy, you got to be in them. Make sure you attend them because Chai and Prakash are really busy and they like take time away from their families and their business and other opportunities to like show up. And I want to make sure like it's really worth their time. So if you guys can be available for those Zooms live, I can tell them, hey, there's a lot of people who really get value from this. It'd be a shame if we stopped doing this. And they would probably listen to that. Okay, great. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. You guys are the best.